we asked a group of guys and their families to share their experience of testicular cancer and germ cell cancer, from diagnosis through to survivorship. It's in the experience.
The operation for me went quite straightforward. I'm one of those kind of people that ends up just wanting to push forward. So there was nothing that was going to stop me. I had the operation. I came round at about 11 o'clock that day, and I physically walked out of the hospital at 2 o'clock, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best thing. But, you know, I think most guys that are diagnosed like myself just want to get back to normality.
It was a very minor operation in many ways. You know, there's very little, you know, a small hole to remove your testicle, but that's it. And actually, I didn't feel too bad about it at all. You know, psychologically, it's slightly different because suddenly you realise that something very important in your body is gone.
You had been asked prior to surgery if you wanted to have a prosthesis inserted.
You're right, yeah.
And we discussed that as a couple,
yeah.
And we'd sort of decided, or you decided that you were happy with it not being inserted at the time, and obviously in some future date, if you decided you wanted it, you could go back and have it. You know, obviously we were given that option that at some future date you could have that inserted.
But I couldn't, you know, I was diagnosed at 46, so I didn't really feel that it was something that I needed at that age. We had 3 children, you know, 10, 12 and 13. So yeah, I didn't think that I needed that at the time.
We'd had no support up until that point with the actual cancer diagnosis, and I felt that nobody was mentioning the word cancer. It was just literally about, you know, this is the operation, this is what happened. So he had the operation, and obviously he was in an awful lot of pain afterwards, but that was to be expected, I suppose. I think I was shocked by how much pain he was in afterwards. And I think they were supposed to have given us the It's in the Bag support pack at Southmead, which we didn't get given. So I felt that we were kind of out on a limb. And then Sue Brown made contact, and I knew everything was going to be okay.
So the operation was really straightforward. Went in at about lunchtime, just went in on my own, didn't need anyone to take me there. Went in, had the operation later in the afternoon, stayed overnight. I believe not everybody stays overnight, but I stayed overnight and then went home after breakfast the next morning. Luckily I lived close by to the hospital, so I was able to walk home, but it was a pretty uncomfortable walk home and very, very slow. Yeah. Did you pick me up?
No, you wouldn't let me.
No, I wouldn't.
No.
Why not?
I don't know.
We were really,
I think I asked that at the time.
we were really early on in our relationship at the time, and I think the whole, like, we weren't, it was a bit of a rocky start, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then throwing this in the middle of it really, like, threw everything up in the air. We weren't that close.
No, I think this kind of, you pushed me away quite a lot through this, actually. You just were determined that you were okay. And I think asking for help or having other people involved made you feel, I don't know, like it was at odds with being okay in a way, and you just weren't at all for a long time actually afterwards as well.
It was Christmas Day. It was December the 18th, your operation? 17th. And I'm a butcher, so we were flat out at work and I couldn't get any time off, so I managed to take him to hospital and I had to leave him there. So I was on the edge of my seat all day, worrying about how he was and if he was coming round all right and all those sorts of things you normally would worry about. And I couldn't be there for you after your operation. Like, just guilty, really, to be quite honest, guilty.
5 minutes before, or 10 minutes before the actual, I was going down into surgery, I took a photograph of myself. Because I knew that was the last time I would be a proper man. I knew when I woke up I'd feel half a man then. I still struggle with that now.
It was quite quite embarrassing because I couldn't move. I crawled, and it was.
Yeah, he was really poorly for definitely for about the first 4 days. Very poorly.
Knowing the type of person that I was and the type of person I had become then, not being able to get out of bed, and it was. I found it quite embarrassing.
I wanted to be really supportive, but I remember being really frightened, and having to put on a happy face for the children, like, oh, honestly, it's all going to be fine. And then going in the cupboard, like in the larder, and thinking, oh God, I need to cry now.
Because that was only the beginning. At that point, still didn't know, had it spread anywhere, was it even cancer? You're left with this horrible, this period that people had spoken about, that with cancer, that waiting to find out, is it cancerous, has it spread? That was just, such a long wait.